I'm Stefan Slamburg. I'm part of the partner Smart Cities Consulting of the Knowing project. I'm leading the work package 5, which is communication and dissemination. And I'm also active in the work package 4, led by Mattia Leone. And part of this work package was the development of these playful trainings and also the app. I am also the co-leader of one of the demonstrator projects, South Westphalia in Germany. And I was asked to co-create these playful trainings set together with our partner Obos. And since we have an important climate project in our region, which is the extension of wind energy in a forested area, we actually took this as a use case to ask ourselves how we can present such a project in a way that we create more acceptance and that we can engage people and partly also empower them to support it as much as possible. So the target group was civil society, but was also a little bit educational. So not so much really the hardcore professionals, but actually the community around it. Thank you. Next slide. Next one. Yes. So from the understanding, of course, climate projects, climate programs are so-called wicked problems. So there's not the clear solution. It's always many conflicts, internal conflicts, which cannot just be solved and decided, but which can only be managed. And we have, as the Knowing Project, decided actually to really go across the different sectors. And going across sectors also means that we try to integrate different interests, different viewpoints, perspectives into one mitigation or a measure, for example. So this means that we have set the goal actually to balance these interests and to create a pathway forward. And this also means that we understand that we, of course, acting in a political environment, political parties. The logic of policy, democracy is playing a big role. And we are currently, of course, facing all over Europe and definitely also in Germany, more and more attacks from right-wing populists to the expansion of the renewable energies. And we need to keep that in mind if we organize these workshops, that such workshops could also be captured and kidnapped actually by such political organizations. This is not the main focus, but it's something we have to bear in mind. Next slide, please. Yes, these climate programs, climate projects are very often infrastructure projects. So there is an obligation to involve citizens, be it people who live there or people who are, let's say, see themselves in conflict with such an expansion of renewable energy in the first instance, but also if it is about greening the city, for example, then it, of course we have a competition about space. So that there are mandatory events to include citizens, and this could also be one of the events where these playful trainings slides, which is a toolbox, can be used to create more acceptance on an interactive level. And this is what this playful is about. It's playful means not purely on a cognitive level, but that we also get more interactive, that we have some gamification aspects in it, but it is more really developing our own rules in that group, in this workshop here, to find to make ourselves better understandable, to understand each other's point of interest and standpoints, that we will show a bit later. Yes, and next one, please. Yeah, as I already said, we have made a big study about these climate coping typologies. We understand that we are not just addressing the people, but these people, civil society, have very, very different stakes really in the climate programs. They are the climate deniers on the extreme one side, and there are fierce promoters of climate protection measures on the other side, and the others are somewhere in between. And we need to understand very well, actually, what kind of target groups do we have in our workshop or in a town hall meeting. And along with these playful trainings, which is a slide set, a slide deck, we have developed also a manual that should help to understand how these slides can be used and how to prepare for such a workshop. So we address a little bit the train-the-trainer situation. Yeah, say the next slide, please. Yes, so the play that we address with playful training is really to use visuals to develop here a modular approach. It is also an offer to the moderators of such workshops to use this slide deck as a kind of um, a model, a toolbox actually, that they play around a little bit with the slides and find out what can be useful for them or not. And please also be creative with these slides. Use them as an impulse, as an inspiration. And this is nothing perfect, of course, but I hope that it gives a good direction how to moderate a workshop in a different way. There are design thinking elements in here. There are some role play elements in there, as you will find from the slide deck and the manual that goes along with it, and some materials that I will talk about. Next slide, please. Typical situations that I encountered 3 or 4 weeks ago here in Germany, where a climate manager invited for a discussion around, again, the expansion of wind energy in their village. And one of the early questions in that workshop was whether the participants believed that climate change was man-made or it was not. And to the surprise of everybody, 80% held a card up which said, no, I don't believe it is man-made. And this is a typical situation that, of course, we should avoid, that we help a group to identify itself as fierce offenders of such climate measures. And this hopefully helps playful training, and it should do in a next step also just to develop a kind of list of do's and don'ts when you go into such discussions. Oh, and this is a typical non-cognitive aspect illustrated here, that it is group dynamics that can be let's say, furthered to create a deeper understanding or to create activation and empower people. But it can also have a reverse effect, of course. If you ask the wrong question at the wrong time, you can understand that it is hard then for the other 20% to bring up their arguments and really have a constructive discussion in such a context. Next slide, please. So this slide deck has about 50 slides. It is built up in 3 parts. Part A is about the knowing project. Part B is about some scientific background. What is it? What are models, climate models, for example? What is systemic thinking? So that we have, or the moderator has a chance here also to stop a discussion by making reference to scientific studies, for example, and avoiding to get into details about what the scientific study says what, but really has a chance to bring the discussion to the point of the concrete project where it is about. And this is something that is very important. Playful training is a slide deck that helps you further support a very concrete project. It is not meant to go into abstract discussions about what should be done in terms of climate change, but really have a concrete project and then understand how you can balance a stakeholder interests, for example, including civil people. Then you will find the right slides in this slide deck to moderate such a discussion. You'll find all the materials on our website. In the slides here, they are linked, so you can download them, and we really invite you to download them and to invite others to download them. This is very important for us. This is a dissemination measure that we have a discussion. And later after this meeting, we would like to send you a very short questionnaire asking you how you believe whether this is helpful for your own work, for your own profession, or your own engagement, and what you are missing actually about these slides and about the display for trainings. Next one, please. So this is the mood and the illustration, how these slides are built up. So this is a little bit this playful gamification element in it. We have very much really paid a lot of attention not to overload the slides with information. Every slide should be an invitation to reflect, to feedback, to start a discussion, and not so much about bringing 100,000 facts and figures to the people, because this is exactly the cognitive level that we want to leave. Next one, please. Yeah, so at some point there are questions: is this true or is this not true? What are the benefits, for example, of a greening project in a city? You have discussions about would it rather slow down the traffic and so that the CO2 emission goes higher than without this greening of streets, for example. But then also you have some slides about just, let's say, this increase of the global temperature since 1850. And what we will do in the next couple of months is to develop a series of blogs where we will give more information about the scientific background of such scientific statements that we make in playful training, so that the moderator has a chance also to read these blogs and have a little bit a deeper understanding why what such a slide is saying, rather than what is on the slide and maybe on the comment part underneath it. Next one, please. Yes, so along with these 50 or so slides, there is this presenter manual, which should be a guideline about how to use these slides, about how to prepare for such a workshop. For many of you, this is absolutely obvious, but I always find out that many people, definitely if they are used to lead workshops for professionals, for example, need a little bit of support or a guideline to prepare and moderate a workshop where you have people from the civil society in there. So with very different backgrounds, with very different intellectual levels, very different questions. And so it is a mix of sometimes very, very simple questions, which are so obvious to us, like is climate change human-made or not, but which need to be addressed to also to pay respect to these people who ask these questions, that we show them, yes, this is a serious question that we have prepared for. So you actually take the slide and you can say a few things about it, or you have a discussion about it. But these slides always help you to find a way back to the scientific basis, without really going too scientific, but just saying, look, these are links to this where you can find studies about it, where you can find more about information about it, so that you do not risk to enter a scientific discussion at this point. That will be wrong. We have actually a workshop of 2, maybe 3 hours in mind when we develop this playful training. This could be an evening. And again, it is about a concrete project where these questions may come up and need to be discussed to some point, but not really in depth. A very important thing is the storytelling in that. If you have a project, an infrastructure project that needs people to get out of their comfort zone, to better understand actually why this is necessary and why their opinion may at least be questionable. You'll need to make them part of a bigger story. I think this is a little bit the success way really to empower people so that they become part of this story, that they feel that they have an influence, that they are listened to, that they are respected, but that they are ready also and prepared on their behalf to change their behavior, to change their view on what they thought is obvious, and now they start to think about it maybe in a more differentiated way. In this presenter manual, we have included a very short guideline to you also to use AI, ChatGPT, for example, to create such a story. To use existing story like South Westphalia or Naples, for example, and to enter it into ChatGPT to describe in a few words your own project and ask ChatGPT actually to develop a storyline for your own project. This goes very quickly and is a very good basis to further develop it yourself. Part of this guideline is, of course, the validation whether ChatGPT has not started to hallucinate and to just invent new things, but this is really something that is validated, that is lecturated on your part. So we have thought that to prepare the material in a way that can be used together with ChatGPT to develop your own thing, to develop your own slides based on your concrete project. Next slide, please. Yes, I think I've said all this. So this is no gamification. It's a little bit of let's say it is not cool class that we're doing here. It is but playful means more interaction, means more stakeholder driven. And maybe the next slide will show this, and we go into the materials. Go to the next slide, please. Yes, exactly. That is the one. We have had 3 stakeholder workshops as part of the knowing team, a 4th one to come, the last one, which is a pathway workshop. And one of the great benefits that our stakeholders really acknowledged was that we had brought them together. They hadn't talked before about their project. So with the water authority, with the forest authority, with municipal administration, for example, then with projectors, engineers, with nature protection initiatives, for example. So really getting together was the first value that we created in the Knowing project. Now, each of these stakeholders has an organization that he is part of. This organization has its own legitimate interest to follow, to defend. And this role play that we have developed here should help understand actually these intrinsic motivation of the stakeholders to make certain statements. And again, this has been created based on the experience of our stakeholders in South Westphalia, together with ChatGPT, with the question, please develop such a card for a stakeholder as I describe it to you now. This is the regional planner, for example. And ChatGPT will develop such a play card for you with arguments, with statements, maybe with risks that this person could see. So it is very easily replicable for your own purposes, for your own project. And this is what we invite you to do, and what we hope you start to think about, whether this could be valuable also for your own project, whether you make use of these stakeholder cards to prepare for the workshop, so to anticipate certain conflicts, for example, or to guide through a kind of a consensus to bring 2 or 3 stakeholders together that you feel here are very much apart from each other, or you really set up a real role play. This is, of course, up to you. I think in certain contexts, it would not be seen as serious if you would set up a role play. But for example, in an educational environment with students, college, and so on, this may be the right way to do it so that they really think about I'm now representing the water authority. What are my interests really to bring into this project? Next one, please. Yes. So the playful trainings is something to prepare for a workshop, to moderate a workshop, and the Shape Your Future app may be an app to invite people to come to the workshop and to prepare them, actually to ask them to dive into the matter of the project and develop a little bit more a generic knowledge or to test their generic knowledge about the climate change. And maybe Michelle, you take over from here.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan. Thank you. So, okay, Stefan now presented the playful training as a stakeholder workshop tool, and now we present the Shape Your Future app. This is the knowing second tool and service that's already available for the stakeholder process, but this is more directed at the civil society that we also need for the climate transformation. So, if you allow me, Mattia, to share my screen. Maybe I can do a live. No, this is the Stefan now. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So you should see this is now I'd say the browser version of the app, of the Knowing app, but it's of course the same on mobile. So our goal is to support with this app the active involvement of citizens in the climate transformation. And like the Shape Your Future app is our tool to allow them to better understand and to plan climate action in the region, to be involved for citizens. So this uses a playful approach to provide information. You can use it, as Stefan said, for example, ahead of town hall meetings, to discuss planned climate measures in your region. So I just give a short overview. This is an introduction. Then we have three interactive cases. Very well done. It's very beautifully arranged, where we can learn. Let's try this. Where we can learn, where we can take decisions, where we follow stories, and then we have little quizzes for people, and we have little input. So this is like general cases on e-mobility, on air conditioning, and livable cities. So to understand the complexity of climate change and like the need for measures taken. But we also, apart from this, have like four scenarios that are closely connected to the demonstrator regions of knowing, and of course also coastal regions in floods in Naples. So this works as a card deck of 6 or 7 cards. And here we can see, for example, different possibilities, like different planned measures for the harbor in Naples, like from the water, from the coastline to, like, you see depaving, bioswales, you see draining pavements. So this gives an overview. We have this for natural port as well, like living breakwaters or Posidonia meadows, to give an overview. And as well as, for example, you see here planned climate measures of Naples. So this was also closely connected to the CECAP. You see the blue ones are already taking shape, and the orange ones are planned ones. And of course, this is not only available in English, but this is also available in Italian and the languages of our other demonstrators. So you have one Italian version, of course, and then it's easier maybe for the citizens of a region, uh, to really engage with this. There's also at the end a small questionnaire for citizens, so that you can already collect ideas or complaints or engagement ahead of a town hall meeting. So this is all done, for the preparation of an information event for climate measures in your region. Yeah. So it's also available on iOS and Android. That's it from my side. So these are the two knowing communication tools that we have ready, that we have prepared for the region already. And I think from here, we might start the discussion where they're helpful.